Hi, welcome back to Just Stop Breathing. So today's video is something I've seen in the news, on YouTube. It's come up quite a bit, and it's something that came out of Sweden, and it's that the Swedish government, the Swedish Prime Minister, said that anyone, it was aimed at Muslims, but I'm not going to just aim it at Muslims. Anyone that's a Muslim in Sweden needs to adopt Swedish values and Swedish cultures and Swedish laws, or they should get out. And I don't just, like I said, apply that to Muslims or religion. It applies to anybody who's going to a different country. It doesn't matter whether you're Sikh or whether you're Hindu or Christian or agnostic or atheist or just your different culture. If you decide to go to another country to live, then you need to adopt that country's laws and cultures and respect them as first priority. Yes, you can still have your own culture, of course you can still have your own religion, but your priority in what you do in a new country is to follow that country's laws and culture. Because presumably if people want to come to other countries, it's because there's something about that country they like. Maybe they see greater opportunities, whatever it might be. So there's a trade-off, whereas if you come to another country, you can't just decide, I don't care about the laws there because these are the laws we had back home. These are the laws our religion says is right, so we don't care what your laws are. So I think it's important that anyone going to another country, like I said, it doesn't have to be a religious thing. It could be, there's plenty of Eastern Europeans in the UK who do what they would have done back home and don't follow UK laws. So it's nothing to do with religion. It can just be a cultural thing, it can be a country thing. But I think anyone coming to another country needs to follow the laws and culture of that country as a priority. And I think it's important to say as well that in all of the countries where these people come from other countries who don't really want to follow the laws, especially Islamic countries, unfortunately, they have no tolerance for people that don't follow their laws or religions or cultures. If you went to an Islamic country and you didn't follow their laws, you can be executed or you can be jailed for a huge amount of time. If you're in one of those countries, even if you were born there and you follow different religions to the country, the country's main religion, which is Islam, you can be persecuted or executed or burnt alive, and it happens all the time. So I think it's important to understand that the countries that most people come from that think they can go to other countries and behave as they want and not follow the laws, they come from countries where tolerance is not tolerated at all in those countries. There's no tolerance, there's zero tolerance, especially for other religions, but it can be anything. It can be just how women are treated, it can be to how people dress. So I think when we think about whether we in Western countries can ask people to follow our laws, and if we don't like it then go, we should also bear in mind that the countries that most of those people come from adopt that policy as absolute standard even with people born in those countries. So we shouldn't be scared of saying that, and I think unfortunately in too many Western countries, especially in the UK where I'm from, we're kind of frightened of saying it in case we sound bigoted or racist, and we want to try and embrace people, but we shouldn't do that at the failure to promote our own culture and our own identity. And I think that there's nothing wrong with saying if you're in the UK, if you're in England, you need to be English and you need to follow English laws, and you can't have an opt-out because you think that a law doesn't affect you or some part of the culture doesn't affect you or something that you can do, the way you treat women, whatever it might be, doesn't affect you because you're in a different country because that's what you did back home. And again, a lot of it is about how people treat women, because if you treated women in a certain way, if you can have multiple wives, it doesn't matter what it is. If you think you can treat your kids a certain way because that's what you did back home, well, you can't do it in the country you go to because that's not what people do there, then you can't do it. And it's as simple as that. And there was a really horrible case recently, which I'm not going to go into details of, but where a Pakistani father, I won't say he was a UK Pakistani because he was a Pakistani living in the UK, he actually killed his 10-year-old daughter because he felt he had the right, because he was her daughter and he was her father, and obviously she was a daughter. not a son. I'm sure he wouldn't have killed his son. So again, that's an extreme case of, number one, cultural differences, and number two, the way different cultures treat women. And both are wrong, and the way different cultures treat kids as well. So like I said, you know, that's an extreme example, but just because you would have done a certain thing back home, and even if it's just like treating your daughters or your female relatives as lower than you are, then that's again not tolerated in a Western country. So if you decide to come to a Western country, whatever religion, whatever culture you're from, whatever country you're from, and like I said, it's not just about Islam, it happens from African countries, it happens from Asian countries, it happens from Eastern European countries, then you need to respect the country you're coming to, or as Sweden have said, stay home and stay where you like the laws and you like the way you can treat people. If that's what you can do there and you get away with it, good for you, stay there. Anyway, thanks for watching Just Stop Breathing. Until next time.